24.
From the state of emptiness arises awe, from which arise skull cups, each containing a hung. The syllables melt and turn into inconceivable offering clouds, undefiled nectar in essence, and a variety of distinct features in appearance. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I unceasingly take refuge. In the Yogin, secret mantra, and Dakini, the embodiments of the three wheels, and in the male and female spiritual warriors, I unceasingly take refuge. For the sake of all sentient beings, I will become Heruka and establish all sentient beings in the supreme state of Heruka. Shri is non-dual primordial wisdom, He is emptiness of causes and so forth, Ru is free from coming together, and Ka is nowhere abiding. I am glorious Heruka, the cause of benefit and happiness for all sentient beings.
Kama Yama Jinja Zona Janju Zambar Sarvaye Tozo Hong Le Wen Ye Ma Na Na Jam Er Se Ye Ye Ma Choi Jir Zhe Ba Yong Se Jir Le Me Che Dur Ji Ra Wa Dang Sai Ye Ra Wa Ger Dang La Je Ye Xie Me Ye Ger Gan Je Zangzo Ge Je Yong Ne Cha We Sa De Ran Je Jing Bo Ju.
I appear as the great glorious Chakrasamvara. My 5 aggregates are the 5 Buddha families, my 5 elements are the 5 mothers, and my sense sources are the bodhisattvas. From the life force syllable Hung at my heart emerge 4 Sumbani mantras, black, green, red, and yellow. They emanate into the 4 directions and transform into an indestructible Vajra fence, ground, web, tent, canopy, and a dome of wisdom flames, becoming a vast protection sphere. Solid, secure, and utterly terrifying, it is impregnable to obstructors, even to Brahma.
Oi, oi, medene, beza, bawan, beza, bendoi, oi, beza, jagara, oi, beza, benzara, oi, beza, bedana, oi, beza, sharan, jala, jan, zan, jan. Om Bezam Zola Arna Lang Om Raya Gar Sarva Duga Hole Wasanjim Lama Dan Golo Don Bela Zun Dinjan
The light radiating from the Hung at the heart of myself, appearing as Heruka, invites the Guru and the gathering of Chakrasamvara deities into the space before me.
Mother Samanza. Cakrasamvara mandala ipi oi jira hiraga saparevar argam badeza sova oi jira hiraga saparevar padem badeza sova oi jira hiraga saparevar pubam badeza sova Oi jira hiraga saparevar pubam badeza sova Oi jira hiraga saparevar arogam badeza sova Oi jira hiraga saparevar gande badeza sova Oi jira hiraga saparevar nevede badeza sova Oi jira hiraga saparevar shada badeza sova beza wen be wen rasa beza wen sabara yen beza wen be wen dharma dardu benze wen be wen benza amerda benza men samara savara no samaye wen sarvata dai gada anurangan bazar zobawa amay gun jo zon la da jan je de kwa me ge so se ya ro ve ge lai ji ya ra san je jan jo ye je son san je je da son jo lai jan jo par de da jan je ran je do je ra zhe je jan jo sen de je par je Chang Chong Yo Ge Sim Ne Ji Jie Ne Sim Jie Nam Jie Da Gen Chuan De Nyer Chang Chong Jin Jo Ye An Jie Bar Jie Ro La Ben Zi Sang Jie Ro Bar Yu Gun Jo Sang La Da Jian Jie De Ba Me Ge So Se Ya Ro Ve Ge Lai Ji Ya Ra Sang Jie Jian Jie Ye Jie Sang Sang Jie Ju Dan Zong Jiu Lai Jian Jiu Bar De Da Jian Jie Ran Xie Du Nye Ra Zhe Jie Jian Jiu Sen Ne Ji Bar Jie Jian Jiu Jiu Ge Sim Ne Ji Jie Ne Sim Jie Tam Jie Da Gen Chuan De Nyer Jian Jiu Jin Jiu Ye An Ji Bar Jie Ru La Ben Se Sang Jie Zhe Bar Yu
I take refuge in the three jewels and confess each and every wrongdoing. I rejoice in the virtues of beings and will hold the Buddha's awakening in mind. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly until attaining enlightenment. I give rise to bodhicitta in order to fully accomplish the purpose of others and myself. Having given rise to the supreme mind of bodhicitta, I welcome all sentient beings. I will practice the supreme bodhisattva conduct of acting with kindness. May I attain enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. The field of accumulation dissolves into me.
Dawa la de ne ro song ro jin pra ve se nam gan lo me je za re ra de de na zo do jin ya ran ve ren le ren je na zo le zhe ya me gan je wen bar wan ce nie gun zo je ra be ma do je me ro de zhe je de na zo ji jie de wa ni ma ji de 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 da de se zhe jian ro we so yang se so so ga ma ve ran re na da ge ji ju be du ji hong jian ten wen ba wen zhe jian ju zhuo yue dun jie lan de sa wo la den xian da nie sa wo qiang zhen dan jie yong se ji ba le zhong wei ran ye jum de de yuan jiu jie nang ka dang yuan dan zhu jing xia jie jian sun jie wa zai xian zhang sam du jie chen zhi wei tu gan ren jie zai jian jian jie rar biao du su jian jian bei zai mo nu wen dun de na zu du jie yuan de da xie jie cha nie du zhi yim lan ju jian xia yuan gen ben jie xie jie guo ge da zi ye ba jiang be dun zi ne me bar ne lan da xian zhu xian de lo nga ju du xi dang jie jia jia zhu Gun Jan Gar Gun Yam Den Bandu Dorjee Nan Jur Shirendo Kiraji Jin Zun Gra Zhur Zangmo Tu Ba Gang Bo Nge Zhe Shen Cha Yun Tu Ba Du Zi Gang Wa Ya Jun Gur Ne Ju Jin Du Ye Ba Den Zu Dorjee Zhu Go Cho Na Gun Lai De Be Zur Yun Ya Jian Ye Ye Ba Yang Zhi De Nian Ju Zhu Lan Zu Jin Ran Zi Jir Mo Cha La Ji Shi Tu Gang Ma Ju Do Sha Dang Cha Jiang A Di Ya Yun Ni Gan Cin Bie Zhi Shin Dar Jiang Jiang Gar Bie Me Dar Zi Ji Dang Di Tai Shi Niu Ju Di Ru Bie Lun Da Yun Jia Ye Ba Nam Zeng Kan Zhu La Mo Dun Ji Ma Zu Ji Ma Nai Mu Jiang Ma Sir Shar Ji Jing Zun Gu Bie Shar Jie Cui Zha Zhu Tu Gan Wei Jin Gan Bu Ma Ju Do Shar Jia Ye Zhu Gu Nam Gar Jia Jie Yong Bie Tu Zha Tu Gar Zi Zhu Mo Ga Zheng Ga Dan Din Xie Di Nyam Gui Xin Jir Me Zur Cha Jiang A Di Wu Zha Dian La Ye Jiang Gar Jie Ra Dun Jin Cam Jir Da Din Du Zi Ban Din Xiang Ye Gang Wei Tu Ben Zi La Nam Zha Vara Da Din Om Ran Jin Bar Bie Ma A Mar Bo Nian Gar Na Zu Dorjee Hong Wo Yap Jie Nian Gar Ong Ha Gar Go Wa Na Ma He Sir Dan De Ji Zu Su A He Mar Bo Cha Ba Ni Su Bo Zhe He Na Ming Yi Hong Hong Ho Mar Zi Yin La Ge La Pei Han Jiang Ge Yum Jie De Wa Om Mar Mar Nian Gar Han Yu Ka Du Mo Xin Ka Ri Ri Mo Gar Mo Dan Go Wo Shen Shen Ra De Sir Xin Ji Zu Hong Hong Jiang Ge Jin Ye La Gen La Pei Pei De Ge Ra De Zen Be Ji Ro Zar.
And then back to page 36. My body gradually dissolves into the awareness Hung, which then remains in space in the form of the nada string. From the luminous and empty natural state of all phenomena arises an intensely blazing protection sphere, a Vajra ground, fence, tent, web, canopy, and masses of fire. At its center arise space, wind, fire, water, earth, and Mount Meru, upon which arise a variegated lotus and a crossed Vajra. At the center of that arises a drum, from which arises a great immeasurable palace made of various precious substances, brilliant and complete in its characteristics. Outside are spheres of lotuses and Vajras, masses of fire, and charnel grounds. Inside the palace, in the center of a multicolored lotus, is a sun disk with Bhairava and Kalarati as a seat, upon which is a mandala of sun and moon, and the white vowels and red consonants. In an instant, the nada of my awareness enters it and transforms into a Vajra with a brilliant blue Hung at its center. Light emanating from it makes offerings to the Buddhas and benefits beings. The light gathers back and dissolves into the seed syllable. The moon, sun, seed syllable, and implement transform, and I arise as the transcendent conqueror Chakrasamvara, outshining the radiance of the clear sky. I have one face, 3 eyes, and bared fangs. My hair knot is adorned with jeweled dried skulls bound by a garland of Vajras along my hairline. The top of my hair knot is adorned with a jewel, the front with a crossed Vajra, and the left with a crescent moon. Holding a Vajra and bell in my hands, I am embracing the consort. With my left leg bent, I stand on Bhairava's head, and my outstretched right leg presses down between Kalarati's breasts. I bear the 6 charnel ground adornments, a loose tiger skin skirt, and a garland of 50 freshly severed heads around my neck. And I display the 9 moods of dance. On my lap is coral-colored Vajrayogini with 1 face and 3 eyes. Half her hair flows down loosely, and the other half is bound up with 5 dried skulls. Embracing the neck of the father, her left hand offers a skull cup filled with nectar. The right hand, in threatening mudra, fiercely brandishes a curved knife with a vajra handle. Her left leg is outstretched, and her right leg is wrapped around the father. Blissful and endowed with the youth of a 16-year-old, her beauty is extraordinary. She is naked and delights in blood, wears a garland of 50 dried skulls, and is endowed with the 5 mudras. The father and mother are adorned with the major and minor marks and silken scarves. Like the fire at the end of time, their blissful union of method and wisdom is magnificent. In front is blue Dakini, to the left is green Lama, behind is red Kandaroha, and to the right is yellow Rupini. Each has 1 face, 3 eyes, menacing laughter, bared fangs, hair flying loose, a crown ornament of dried skulls, and a garland of 50 dried skulls around the neck. In their right hands they each brandish aloft in space a curved knife, and in their left they hold to their hearts skulls filled with blood. A kadvanga is tucked into the crook of the left arm. Their bodies are naked and sensuous, and they are endowed with the 5 symbols. With right leg outstretched and left leg bent, they dance majestically upon corpses. In the 4 intermediate directions upon moon discs are vases filled with the 5 nectars, and topped by skull cups filled with the 5 meats. At the forehead of each deity on a moon disc is a white Om. At the throat on a lotus is a red A. And at the heart, at the center of a Chakrasvara, is a blue Hung. At the father's heart are white Om Ha. At the forehead, yellow Namahe. At the crown, red Soha Hu. At both shoulders, black Bausat He. At both eyes, crimson Hung Hung Ho. And at all limbs, green Pet Hang. At the navel of the mother is red Om Bam. At the heart is blue Hang Yom. At the mouth, red, white Rim Mom. At the head, yellow Ring Ring. At the crown, green Hung Hung. And at all limbs, gray Pet Pet. Pem Pem, the light radiating from the Hung in my heart invites the Viras and Yoginis of the 10 directions and the empowerment deities into the space before me. Zahong Bam Ho, the wisdom and commitment beings become indivisible.
Yoga Shida Sarva Dharma Yoga Shida Sarva Tata Gata Abegin Zada Moi Shibyo Soda Wan Le De Zaya Gang Weban Ba Sha De Do Ne Ne Yedra Damba Zamjana De Ye Ye Gun Zardar La Ye Jane Daba Ye De Ye Dage Ye
Om Sarva Tathagata Abhi Kinsa Tu Mom. Having been supplicated, the empowerment deities hold aloft vases filled with nectar and proclaim, just as the Buddhas were bathed upon birth, we will bathe you with the pure water of the gods.
Om Sarva Tathai Gata Abhi Gata Samaya Yirya Hoi Soy Wang Ger Ge Gan Zhi Ma Doi Dewa Jin Ba Ran Xin Jiu Jir Ne Wan Lai Ran Dun Ji Lai Jin Ji Liao Zuo Lai Bei Ji Yong Lai Nan Nan Dan
Saying this, they bestow the empowerment with the nectar, which fills my body and purifies all defilements, transforming me into the supreme nature of great bliss. The empowerment deities then dissolve into me. From the overflowing nectar arises a crown ornament of Akshobhya on the principal lord, Vairochana on the mother, and Ratna Sambhava on the four Dakinis.
Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Trojana Bade Zazoeva Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Padem Bade Zazova Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Pubam Bade Zazova Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Dubam Bade Zazova Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Alogam Bade Zazova Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Gande Bade Zazova Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Nivede Bade Zazova Om Jira Gasa Para Vara Shabda Bade Zazova Rinchen Dorjee Tanju Paraje Parde Lama Dhamma Namje Shardu Om Ai Om.
I offer to the mouths of the kind root guru and all the glorious holy lineage gurus. Om Ahom.
Wen Xiran Bai Zai He Ru Ru Gang Ho Wen Bei Roi Gen Nan Za La Zangvar Om Ai Om. Wen Bai Zai Bei Ro Za Na Ye Om Ai Om. Wen Da Ge Ne Ye Om Ai Om. Wen Lai Me Om Ai Om. Wen Gen Da Ro Ye Om Ai Om. Wen Re Pe Ne Ye Om Ai Om. Wen Sarva Dharma Palaya Om Ai Om. Wen Sarva Dada Engada Anurangana So Bhava Amago Onjon Den Bhava Wang Bo La Xian Zai Gar Ba Jin Bo Da Ye Me Da Ve Rar Ve Zo Je Jiu Bian Jing Ba De En Je Zhe Zha Jin Je Su Rong Wei Xia Cha Ne Wen Se Nong Zhang Par Wa Bo E Zha Da Xiang Jian Dong Dan Ga Zhan Zi Da Ge Ba Be Na Zang Jiang Wan Zi De Wan Min Jin Dong Zong Ge Lai De.
Om, homage to the conqueror, the courageous Lord. I bow to you, who blaze like the fire at the end of a great kalpa, whose locks are bound up at the crown, whose face is terrifying, fiercely bearing fangs, whose hands, gleaming with 1,000 lights, raise a battle axe and lasso and hold a spear and a katvanga. You who wear a tiger skin robe and whose smoky color resembles great darkness.
Jum Din De Ma Dorjee Ba Mo La Ne Chan Za Lo Ba Ma Je De Sun Yon Yin Je Me De Re Be Wan Shu Je Yong Bo Tam Je Jin Ze Gun De Be Ma Dorjee Je Mo Ni Dorjee De Ma Me Bang Jin Je Me De Wan Ze Yo Wei Jin Do Jiang Gen Bran Ze Ma Ji Se Rong We Cho Mo Ji Je Mo Zha Ji Ju Ji Ra Dun Ji Pra Ji Jiang Pa Ru Le Jer Ma Nam Pra Ja Ma Mu Bran Ze Jin Ring Dang Mong Bran Ze Ba Mo Dorjee Ba Mo Nan Jer Je Mo De Be Wan Shu Ma La Du Jie Jie Wang Dang Gu Be Le Jie Dang Lu Zi Sen Jie Jin Ba Ni Ya Nam Ga Dan Ju Ga Ga Zha Lin Jie Da Yin Bu Nam Jir Ma Jie La Xian Zar Da Ba La Su De Jin Ye Ba Jie Ban Ba Jie Dang Du Zi Gang Wei Nu Tsam Zi Ju Be Su Jie Ne Ba Ye Da Xue Yer Me De La Xian Zar Lo.
Page 53. Om, homage to the transcending conqueress Vajra Varahi, to the superior mother of the three worlds, invincible awareness consort, who destroys all fear of evil spirits with your great Vajra nature, to you with controlling eyes who remain like a Vajra seat unconquered by others, who neutralize even poison, wrathful, fierce lady, bearing your fangs, terrifier, annihilator, who severs completely, who conquers all adversaries, all victorious one, conquering those who make us dull, rigid, and confused. To Vajra Varahi, great yogini, powerful lady, who fulfills all desires, I bow. Homage to the four heart yoginis who represent the four activities of pacifying, enriching, overpowering, and suppressing, the four placements of mindfulness of body, feeling, mind, and phenomena, and the four levels of joy, joy, supreme joy, beyond joy, and co-emergent joy. Homage to inseparable method and wisdom, the four Tathagatas, such as the Unchanging One, abiding in the intermediate directions in the form of offerings, the four vases with skull cups filled with nectar.
Dewa Martinyele Yeshe Memba Golosam Sosra Nebe Yeke No Sejong Hong Le Garjaba Yeke Larze De Dubar.
Inside my body, appearing as Haruka, are the 3 channels and 4 chakras. At my crown is a white hung, at my throat a white om, at my heart a blue hung, and at my navel a red ah. From the ah, wisdom fire blazes forth, burning away the syllables of the 3 chakras. From the hung, white drops descend, and restoring the 3 syllables, blissful warmth blazes forth. From the hung at my heart, a mantra garland emerges. It descends through the pathway of the Vajra, enters the lotus of the mother, and rises through her central channel. It emerges from her mouth, enters again into my mouth, and dissolves into the seed syllable at my heart. In this way, it circles continuously.
Varanzo Oi Jere Bazae Rere Kaon Be Dai Gene Zalazam Varanzo Oi Jere Bazae Rere Kaon Be Dai Gene Zalazam Varanzo
So we have some questions. So we'll have a little bit of question and answer with Drupon Rinpoche. So the first question is, it is said that in Tantra, emotions are taken as the path. What does it mean from the practice perspective? Specifically, what does it mean in the context of Chakrasvara practice? Dine de sanga kala nyomong lamdu chewa gi nyamlen cheya yorwala. Dine de nyamlengi to na or nyamlengi go ne di gi nyamnyong gande do nyomong lamdu chewala. Pena nyamnyong gande.
Nyamlen karse?
Nyamlengi go ne.
Go ne sana?
Go ne de nyamlengi to la.
Nyamnyong to la.
Nyamnyongi to na. Yeah.
Nyamnyong.
Dine di chibo yu mare. Dine yang flak bar du dimcho nyamlen che du. Dine gande do nyomong landu chewa.
So jitang tere sira. Jitang te tokpa zu jo len jo marwa. Marwa. Chiu tokpa kan ru se jo len ya yo marwa. Te lukso re yo marwa jitang jina. 야, 단지. 근데 와다 냠내 지도 지당 간주도 저 냠용 간주 총 송소 대 지당 계자세 싫어 라야요.
마리 그 공소 냠낸 제도 간데 냠낸 제고 그래.
야야.
공다. 야. 페나딜 뇽몽 람두 제와 간데 제고 된다.
간주 제고래서.
간데 제고 그래. 된다. 공다 인지케 라탕데스 가가래.
근데 다들 드린도 다 녀모제 홍들어와. 녀모제 홍데 시당저 세제 홍나. 시당테 뭐시 송나테 람체스 라표사래. 맞아 망체스 기타 시당테 뭐 메시데 시당체데 체든로 되는 제니 튜로 그러와. 되게 요라 뭐 차그러와. 와 대치테 마이지와 지소 시당제 홍도 시당 뭐체 송나. 되 녀모 람 뭐시 되 마이와 냠내 치리는데 시당 Lamas chess. The Shedan, the Nidugas of Lashua, Shedan Namda, Melon, she said, Lashua, the Melon Shendom. What a young about some of the Javaring and Yinga or Tendrina Chakras, I think, so I think one shake with Sarwa. Then also saying one shake, my daughter, true Namto, they just tell you, show chase and show chase and rotating, one shake of my angel, or tell it, that's just the Tambo discuss what this color happened. What this is that do young the answer China, so chart chandros.
So he said that the way that we practice bringing the afflictive emotions onto the path in the practice of secret mantra is like this. For instance, if you give rise to anger, the main thing is that we recognize that anger has arisen. So the main thing is having awareness of the afflictive emotion, and that is really, how we bring the afflictive emotions onto the path, because they fuel awareness. So the important point is that there's recognition. Often we don't recognize. Most of the time, we don't recognize when we have afflictive emotions. And not recognizing we're under the influence of delusion, and we feed the afflictions and they become stronger and stronger, and then there are all sorts of problems that arise as a result of that. So the main thing is to cultivate the awareness that recognizes the afflictions and recognizing or holding awareness when the affliction is present and not becoming distracted. Then the affliction itself, such as anger, the essence can be penetrated, and the completely pure essence of anger then becomes mirror-like wisdom. So in this way, when we hold awareness in the experience of the arising of afflictions and we don't become distracted, then the 5 afflictive emotions can be experienced as their pure essence, that of the 5 Buddha families or the 5 wisdoms. If we don't recognize, then they are just the nature of delusion, and that delusion becomes stronger and stronger, and that delusion is fueled by distraction or a lack of recognition. So at first it's not so easy, it's really difficult, but as we practice, it becomes easier and easier, and the awareness becomes stronger and stronger.
Kung bay kung jare na la seta. Kung ngima kumare sa kumara chakwa du ja je sa. Te jele kung zai te leka te so konan joba ji. Tene da chawa ya bo je chi yo sarwa. Chawa ya bo chi nyamna ya bo chi di re sa. Sha de nima zai ma chang zai na song sarwa kung. Ma chang zai na zai song du tene da ma chang te sim jian zuo chi sim jian da ho da zhe xue ya zhong zhan ma zhe yo ruo. 没怎么起落着说啥吧？他说这学校中他起落身前从他来看忙不有吧？说他说，小可能基本哪地有啥吧？这哪地呢？可他我参观我是茶没上，这茶这国家个都上的呢？老话嘛，茶路是空嘛就有吧？听到嘛就有噻。这可前半年有啥吧？前半年对听南上哎，古嘛来都是给家噻。晓得没长听没长嘛哪样子有啥了？海上都古嘛这里。 这个嘛也给老板，这是可是呢，我家国讲都是啊，这样子老板的怕出事。我大等于在外面空气去了，这样呢，这工头就吃好了，这你那做前半年事情呢，他人多巧，那我做帮样就有了，我巧那他提空气眼把子，让你们做话，你们俩起床这làm起来是小啥吧？
So there's a story that exemplifies this, and so there was this guy in Tibet named Beng Kunjal, and he was a Kadampa practitioner, and before he became a practitioner, before he became a monk, he was a thief. And then later in life, he became really regretful about all of his negative activities, and he took ordination, and he really dedicated himself to practice. And he was staying in retreat, nearby the home of one of his benefactors, and he was at the home of the benefactor. And they had gone outside to tend to the animals. So they were all outside of the house, and he was left there alone. And then he thought, oh, I don't have any tea in my retreat hut. I need some tea. I'm out of tea. And so he went over to the tea jar, and he stuck his hand in the jar to take the tea, and then he suddenly realized what he was doing. And so he grabbed his hand and he shouted, a thief has, there's a thief. And then all of the family members then ran into the house, and all they saw was, him with his hand in the jar, holding his hand, shouting, there's a thief. And they said, where's the thief? And he said, I'm the thief. I'm about to, steal this tea. You should just cut off my hand right here and now. So he, in that moment, he kind of forgot, and then he gave rise to awareness, or he remembered what he was doing. And so this really shows the role of awareness. And in the sutra tradition, then the afflictions are to be abandoned or avoided. In Tantra, then we recognize their lack of inherent nature, their empty essence. And so this is how we practice bringing the afflictive emotions onto the path. Dine de demcho katla yang mixel che yorebe.
Demcho da jitang mixel jaman do ta nga nyam na ji fa ra wa. nga tsama nyamla ji pare te go nyamla chitang te yang ta nyomo ngo she sona chitang ta nyomo ngo she sona te ti ken chen ma sona de na lam che se ga ti chen se na ta ten zi ba hyo je pa sona hyo che de pa te yong ma wa ko ran chang te zo ngo she ne ta te nyomo ma ra ji ma ro wa te ha ko sona te ne te ye sa re me dem cho la message ma do te na ta ma ji pa ro wa.
And then as far as your question about, whether, like, what is the role, or you said specifically, what does this mean in the context of the Chakrasamvara practice? So we said there isn't any special different practice with Chakrasamvara. It's the same, as it is with all secret mantra practice, that the main thing is that as we're practicing, we're cultivating awareness, we're cultivating recognition. So instead of getting bound up or tied up in the thoughts, in the afflictions as they arise, we are sustaining, maintaining awareness of their empty essence, and then that becomes the practice of bringing the afflictions onto the path. On the other hand, if we lose our awareness, if we become distracted, and then we get kind of bound in our concepts and follow after the concepts, then they just become stronger and stronger. So it's just the same with Chakrasamvara. The practice is cultivating recognition or awareness. So then the next question is, when we dissolve the syllables of the central channel, do we hold the vase breath at that time? Oh, actually, he's going to get into that tomorrow. We'll cover that tomorrow, so we'll skip that one. So we're going slowly through the text, so we'll get to that section. Then the next question is, would you please teach us the mudras of the offering goddesses and any other mudras we have in the sadhana? I'm sure everybody would greatly appreciate it. Dine de Lama chudro ge chaja yerwala. Dine ditso ngazo Zangmo Recitation do tenro nang. Ditso ten dang chaja Zangmo tenro nang with Zangmo pingare la.
Benzara vene hom pi benzara wanshi hom pi benzara merdange hom pi benzara meranze hom pi benzara hasi hom pi benzara lasi hom pi benzara gende hom pi benzara nerde hom pi benzara bube hom pi benzara dube hom pi benzara deba hom pi benzara gende hom pi rasa benzara hom pi sabarshe benzara hom pi
sabarshe benzara
rasa benzara sabarshe benzara hom pi dharma dardu benzara hom pi.
Chichina Recitation do gare re sungna. Pena Recitation do pena. Okay, so we're going to go into also in the following days. He'll go through, what they each symbolize, and so he'll teach them in greater depth. What is the main purpose of Chakrasamvara practice? Dine demcho nyamne cheyaki dun sowo garere.
So
to become enlightened, to reach the state of Buddhahood, to become a Buddha.
Semtezo di nyamne wona luten tama lusona ten sanje tsugu mares. Watin du lut la jerem gomna. De luda semd. Niki ten trwa wona te yaw sarwa. Wa lusem niki te lut
달라 임바시 대샘대 야냠래 야고나 대 루셈니 상하지 로쇼사르면 룬타마 루존 샘데 오스냠래 오나데 양타반로 말존도와
Karela?
룬타마 타메 루인sam디 데네 샘티 간제 냠래 오스요나 대지보 칸트 마레 스테존도와
So he said, well, you know, what we're doing when we're practicing the generation stage is that we're transforming this ordinary body, or the perception of our body as ordinary, into the perception of the divine form of the deity. And so the generation stage is a process that involves both the body and the mind. So both the body and the mind, transformation of body and mind, is important on the path that of progressing to awakening or Buddhahood. If our body is ordinary, and we even if we have inwardly, or the mind, with the mind, one is practicing well, even if there's progress with in practicing with the mind, that's not enough. It actually, the process has to be one that combines both transformation of the body and transformation of the mind, because to attain awakening, to reach the state of the awakening, we have to practice with both, or experience the transformation of both.
ngaransu da sem de var ifin ning bores lu te so ne da ji be ren ba do ne yong strop sen ji gen song song yo wa ji be ren ba do ne yong strop si da ga gong je ne yo wa ta je nam do ne yong strop res wa ta je nam je dan la ko ran tang bo ko ne ha so pung bo da ja wa re nga la so de pung kam ji ji sam ba la da nam mo kra ji res ina te ngo she sho ma res wa ta da te sem so de var ifin ning bo te ngo to chor to ga da 르드 다고 본감 진지 라다 라모이 바서 저 모두 저토야 다 냠냐치네 녜마마 소소소 고 마시 와서 셰네야 아 텐주 치토야 텐사라 하고 고미아조
So because the true essence of the mind is the Buddha nature, and likewise, the true essence of the physical body is already like the perfection of the enlightened form of the deity. So as Lord Jigten Sumgön says in the Gongchek, that the generation stage is like ultimately perfected. It is the nature of, it is the essence of the ultimate nature. And so it isn't like we're creating something new, but we're actually recognizing the inherent purity of what it is as it actually is. So, for instance, as it says, primordially, the aggregates are the 5 Buddha families, the elements are the 5 female Buddhas. And so it's just that we don't recognize, we have this perception of our body as ordinary because of delusion. And so since the mind and the body are interconnected, it is through also this purification of the body through the generation stage that we can actually come to also fully recognize the Buddha nature, or the true nature of the mind. And so through the practice, we come to understand, we become to realize what we hadn't formerly realized. So as I've practiced the mantra recitation, I have found my perspective switching from Yab to the Yum upon reciting the mantras of the mother. Is this permissible? And I think the question, it doesn't sound like, it's not in a question form, but I think it's, and does the mantra garland move in the same direction as with the other mantra, maybe? It says in the sadhana, but I think maybe that's what was meant. So dini the Yum gi nga dome katla dangpo rang sowo dimcho yimba gomgi ore de pena sowo gi mingi nga dome katla yene yang Yum gi nga dome katla tani yum yimba nangshin dushi chegyore demcho nyamdu.
다다 저 덤초 광고 사례 가서 덤초 냐나 라는데
Dene yum gi ngap dombe
좀
kabla
동나
yang.
티가 고 파르 메이들 잔면 저 덤초라 지
Yeah. So actually, no, you don't switch. Even when we're reciting the mantra of the mantras of the yum, we're still visualizing ourselves as Chakrasvara.
어제당 가랑서 다다디 요미요 코랑 방모 코랑 냠나 지야 요로와 어다당 가서 덤초 남 덤초라
Yeah, because of course, there is the yum practice. It's its own practice, but right now we're practicing Chakrasamvara. And then, when we do this Demchok practice in retreat, should we do a tsok for every session, 4 times daily, or just during one session? Dene samla debe kala tun rede la tsok.
투데 소라고 말해 소팅마지
No,
그래서 투시용나 소테 제거다 쇼기 동나 리고 나동 그디 동 치바자 샤요 말해 나좀 삼디나 쇼기라 마치 스타동 쇼 가시 소라테지마 지게레 소라테 공다투가
la so
소테니 쇼기라 동나
dene sola
소라 공다 안다 가시 테르지도 나 답대보면도 소라 소사마 쇼기 반동도 쇼로와 어떻게든 저당치는 어떻게 이상하구나 여보 저당 참디디가错이나错没想把它这样有嘛类似这참 좋잖아 매매 참디디가错제 요라没想把它没想把被强的现在没想把它就这样有嘛类似哪了下过去落当嘛类似他们干哪我说三三的他那的错话有了错了去落当个嘛类似错话国家么在陆下结果呢他那下呢他呢上你参出事的嘛东亚嘛这个错话你嘛大话去落当他其中陆什么都是错话做的时候是那么多错话嘛伢都过是但参可对冲呢他讲错话嘛当这个是
So you don't do a tsok every session. You just do it once a day during one of the sessions. It can be done in the first session. It can be done in the evening session. It can be done really actually kind of any session, but most commonly it is done with the first session, the morning session, the very first session in retreat most often. And then some have the practice of doing having the sok in the first session and then doing the remainder or offering the remainder that part in the last session. But Drupon Rinpoche says he finds that doesn't work for him that much. He likes to do it together. So like the sok in the first session and then also the remainder in the first session. However, 2 things. When you're staying in closed retreat, first of all, you're not supposed to see other people, so you wouldn't share your tsok with other people. You wouldn't, give the tsok out to other people. You really keep it in your retreat dwelling, and you just eat it yourself. And then same actually with the remainder, even though you do the section of the sadhana with the remainder of offering the remainder, you keep the remainder inside. You don't take it outside, you collect it, in some vessel and keep it until the end of your retreat, and you don't take it out until your retreat is finished.
덤초 나라 덤초 때는 상지 요레스 어디가나 이후 게다 말매 탑선나서 만보제 어떨 추가 토비요레스 어때네 가시트 종거래 다 상지 좀 되는데 이렇게 유대를 종거와 유대에서 종홍도 어때네 유대티 진거 상마 더동 그래서 진거 상마 파던도레스 유대 종 사두 어때 덤초한테 진거 두요 말레스 마두네 때문에 소소한 잠블랭고 카데 샤인 나레스
Wait, so madune
진거티 카나오데 소소한 잠블랭 소한 잠블랭 뭐 알아줘 소한 잠블랭고 소 카데네 카데 하고요
They facing Dawa? Yeah, facing. Okay.
Tenru de ne hyayor is. Wa ten du chinap che, tu ni ma khasi sona chinap che yo. Wa ten du an chinap che jong la, ti sam da ya sare. Wa ten jisu malare be. Yedam kholo dem chonde. Yedam kholo dem chonde. Turu ru be jian ji jian, turu ru be ta jian cha ma mo do ta jian cha ti la phyo ru jian dong ra ma da do. Wa turu ru be jian ji jian. Chinap chong de men ro le, chinap chong de men ro le. Kanroji tamse is that chinap chung to mandrole then kanroji tamse is what is on the what in do thing around so they go to kuma sama da nyamna che ne da war sing so the nyamna jun ma chi de chinap chu ma is so ra ti kam mix ti sa ko nyamna chi de pyo ching de yu sa re zum do ra
Dini Miller about the Dangpo Jinja ki korla gare?
Jinja da turu ru be jian ji jian, turu ru be jian da jinja chao de drop shao do la so yang ga yo wa.
The Congo gare.
Dem chol ta yo res. Jinja ma bo yo res. De jinja ma bo yo res ina da chinap chung tu man ro len kan ro ji tam se is.
So kind of going back to the question about, what this practice, working with the afflictive emotions in a way that is specific to Chakrasvara, he said, so it's not that there's like a special approach or method. However, Chakrasvara is said to be like particularly strong in its power of blessings. That it has been practiced by so many great masters, since like all of the great, 80 or of the great Mahasiddhas of India, many of them reached Buddhahood through the practice of Chakrasvara. Likewise, there are countless really extraordinary Tibetan masters who have reached the supreme attainment by practicing Chakrasvara. And also, it's really special in that, when the Buddha taught the Tantras, it is said that with each Tantra, the mandala, after he had finished teaching that Tantra, that the mandala dissolved. But the Chakrasvara mandala did not actually dissolve after he had taught the mantra, that it remained, and it remained facing the southern continent of Jambudvipa. And so in this way, it is especially powerful and potent in its blessings, and in particular during these degenerate times. Also, Jetsun Milarepa said, that Chakrasvara, adorned with all of the bone ornaments, I'm not sure what the connection was with the bone ornaments, but that the blessing does not ever get any less. It doesn't ever diminish. That this is the samaya of the Dakinis. That the warmth of the blessings are still present, and they have not declined to any degree. And they are also sustained by all of the blessings of the great practitioners and spiritual teachers, Lamas, who have practiced this practice, throughout generations. So it's a really powerful practice for transforming afflictive emotions.
That's about. So Mambo Yuri.
What's a Mambo Yuri?
Yeah, came and no Chusundo.
Oh, okay. Shut up, Mambo. Please elaborate on the mantra accumulation commitment. Is it 600,000 of the long Dimchok mantra, or 100,000 for each of the mantras, or some other thing? Dini dranka gande sako gare de boom dro.
Boomshe.
Okay.
Jitanga zum boomshe Dimcho tase nga ni sani dian de noa om yer ma da he se wat ni sani ote. Boomshe, Nening to Momshe, then Kando Yom Nimbuni, there's a Chishe, Kando Shivat
Tiji.
Kando Chiri, no Chishe, Juchari, no Chishe.
Tiji. So Yum
Kandoshi.
Yum ni Gandido.
The Jigwashi. Chishe.
Tiji. Okay. Most typically, actually, the main mantra, the essence mantra, is accumulated. There are 400 accumulations of the essence mantra. And likewise, also the near essence mantra too, 400,000 accumulations. And then also for each of the Yum mantras and the 4 dakinis, 40,000 each. Is that right? Yeah. Can you share specifics on what is to be visualized?
During this, the number of Zaya or the Tsegitri, Nazo Tsegin, Shakari, Kashipe Mambo Zakaram, Rumum Zakari, Taja, Kasi, the Yamachiton, the Ayakra, Tsegin.
So actually, though, he said there isn't really like any rule with accumulations. And in fact, there are people who accumulate different numbers of the mantra. In fact, like the 400,000 is maybe just the basic accumulation. Yingdu Rere Nishutani? So, for instance, the essence mantra has 22 syllables, and there are some who accumulate 100,000 for each syllable. So then that becomes what, 2,200,000? Is that right? Something like that. Sayani Dawa. But he said also, people accumulate different amounts. So there's some who do, many more than the 400,000. There's really essentially however many recitations or accumulations you can do, the better. Can you share specifics on what is to be visualized during the quintessence and essence mantras? Is there a simplified version if a student's mind is too obscured to see the entire mantra garland clearly? How fast should the mantra garland move? Is it sufficient to practice Tumo and visualize the 3 channels? So I'm kind of not sure if that's like in connection with the other questions. With mantra, so I'm not sure how to ask that. I don't know if anyone wants to clarify. But so dini di nga rere la mikpa gande che go gare.
Rere mikpa sana.
Pena de nga so ni rowa de yaugi nga ni la de kala mikpa gande che go gare de dewa dampo de re. Mikpa gande che go gare dini yang garsi pena le lawa drabo che pena nga so denda de mikpa sheda sawa yang yong metubna dini yang chetang kaka che yorebe.
Ta kaka shira shiosa mare. Ina de nga zo ta zonju chi go yore. Zonju chi go yore. Tene chetang mikpa te ta be chang da om yer ma da he er se ko shi de len dong da. Mei go yore wa te zo wo de nian ba ka de zan de te zo mei. Ro yi ge de. Wo nian ba te zo mei ti gang de te chi. 我真的在大洋的样所是的太软这边的，他们没这来了呀，这么多真的在他是我也是让用么的洋的样所说是他不起真的真的这块这些这么过的是，这些这么真的开始呢，真就这么推嘛，常常来罗往跳着在这确实呢在俺那所这开心不的，今天从公司送去了，我都啥不是。 我这都讲做劳动那么些的，说这么的当行咱们在来罗往去做去的呢，这做劳动那么些这么的是的，听着咱们这样讲，真的听着去过的差的这种，没事来了我谁家他有嘛的事了，基本上的是。
So he kind of went to the second question of the second part of that, which is that. No, there's really not like a simplified version. we have to just kind of be diligent. So the main thing, with any mantra recitation, the main thing is that we are keeping our attention primarily on the mantra garland, in the circling of the mantra garland. And even though it might not be clear, with repetition, as we stick with the practice, then we gain clarity. It becomes more and more clear. And the main thing is to cultivate non-distraction and frequency, to practice again and again. And then, of course, sometimes, and to really stay with pointed focus, paying attention to the visualization, to what we're doing. Sometimes we become lazy, or we, fall under distraction. And then, when we're not feeling so inspired, or we're feeling a little bit apathetic, then we can reflect, for instance, on the words of Lord Jigten Sumgön, who says that the preliminaries are even more profound. He considers the preliminaries to be more profound than the main practice. And so then we can apply reflections on the four thoughts that turn the mind. So think a little bit, meditate on the four thoughts in a way that then inspires you to really stay focused with diligence on the practice. And then, dini nga yang de kordu gatse jopo drogiore. So actually, as far as the speed of the movement of the mantra garland, he said you can have it correspond to the pace of your mantra recitation. So, if you're reciting very quickly, then the mantra garland is going quickly. And if you're reciting slowly, you can visualize the mantra garland moving slowly. And maybe as it slows down, actually it becomes easier also to really visualize the syllables of the mantra, the letters. And I'm sorry, I don't really understand the context of this question. Is it sufficient to practice Tummo and visualize the three channels? I don't know if that's connected with the mantra or if it's just, I don't understand that question. So maybe you can. Dine Tummo nyamlin chedu dine cha sum gomna de chipo gomna dawa degerebe. So you can just clarify it later, maybe with a question, and leave it in the box. What are the 6 bone ornaments of Chakrasvara? Dine rupe jin dru garere.
Nianjian, Gujian, Tene Wujian Yosarwa, Somrawa, Tere Chakdop, Shabdop, Ninyam Chakdop, Shabdop, or Tere Kasiri Marawe, Sherwa, Tigana, Tegara, and Rosation, Gara, and Techi, say Tian Seller, Tevachuga, Chakda Chok said, Teazichu, or Tela, or Tere.
So the young do le mangwa. Oh, digdo. Okay. So there are the necklaces, earrings, the diadem or the crown ornament, the bracelets and anklets, the belt or sash or skirt, and also actually then the ash that is smeared on the body. Okay. Tene yang jincha rube jinga. So then the 5 bone, it says. So there are the 5 bone ornaments. It says, what are the 5 bone ornaments of Vajravarahi? So they're the same as Chakrasvara, but without the ash. So Vajravarahi doesn't have the ash smeared on the body. So the reason why she doesn't have the ash is because the ash symbolizes wisdom, and Vajravarahi is wisdom. She's the essence of wisdom, so she doesn't need to wear the ornament of it. And then on page 40 of the text, what are the major and minor marks? Dene Shodang Jibjula, the Tsinpe, Yorua, Tsinpe, Garere. So these are the 32 major and 80 minor marks of a completely enlightened Buddha, like the physical marks of a Buddha. And then Yang Chajanga Garere, Jipju Shodang Jipjure, Chajanga Rupijin. Yeah. Okay, the Rupijin Yimba Hakoyo. So the 5 mudras are actually the same as the 5 bone ornaments. So that's what that means when you see the 5 mudras. Dene Yang Shodang Jipju Nila, 5 symbols. I don't know what that is. Jipju Jani. Five symbols. Oh, that's the same word actually as mudra in Tibetan, so it's the same thing. Chajanga. Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's the bone ornaments. And so then another question: to fulfill the samaya, does the 100,000 mantra accumulations have to be performed with the father's long mantra, or is it possible to do the mother's long mantra? So I'm not sure what. So this must be the samaya for the empowerment, I guess. Damsik Ruya Kichidu Pena Boom Chick Sa Gogyo Sarwa Boom Chick. Dini Yinji Minji Yabgi Nga Sa Gogurbe Yangna the Yum Sadhana Digirbe. No, with this it has to be. Oh. So first he said no. Yeah. Oh, okay. He said, well, the mother mantra is longer, but at first he said that no, it should be the father mantra, and then he said, oh well, okay, either way, and then he pointed out that it's actually longer, the mother mantra. So. Regarding the samaya to accumulate 100,000 mantras, is it possible to accumulate them while I drive or exercise, or can I only count the mantras for the accumulation samaya while sitting using the 3-page mantra accumulation sadhana? Dini damsik sumya kichidu boom chek sagona dini pena de mota tangwe kala yangna lujong chewe kala sa chogareve Yangna Yinji Minji Gom Gatne de Druptap Nyamdu Nyamlinche Gogureve.
Tate Gom Jamne Drupta Nyamna China Yabore Sra. Yabore, Nina, that Matsama Leka showed in the Washa, the count of the chamber Mayawachi, Chamning Jetan, then Benante, Chamning Jetus, so Rodin as some bunch of her. I was telling it to take one of that.
So he said, well, it's best if you do it, sitting and, in the meditation posture and practicing like, according to the sadhana, like in a real session. But on the other hand, he recognizes that these days people are really busy. Often, people have the demands of a, job and a very busy life. So, you do what you can. And if you're doing the accumulations like in other, in another context, the main thing is to really try to not be distracted and to recite the mantra in a mind state of love and compassion, cultivating love and compassion.
다다디 가조디 차제 초티 공연 양차제 라나로와 다다 차제 초티 다지당 차도 비로 차도부터 진배 바로 진바 지 진바 지 어드네 구젠 세제 요로 구젠테 수림 바로 진바지 어드네 나차트 소비 바로 진바지 나 저제 노아 어데 어드네
디가레레
소바 데 우젠 저서 다티 존주 바로 진바지
존주
데레 다제 디 게란다모다 샵도한다모다 something 바로 진바지 다 요엄트소 요사로와 어때 대신한테 다 시라 바로 진바라 야미나 데 요엄트 대신한테 요 말했지만 아니마
So going back to the 6 bone ornaments, so chapdu is bracelets, right?
라화
So the bracelets are the perfection of generosity, the paramita of generosity, and the necklaces are the perfection of ethical discipline or pure conduct, and the earrings are the perfection of patience. The crown ornament is the diadem is the perfection of diligence, and the skirt or sash and the anklets are the perfection of meditative concentration, and the ash, the human ash, is the perfection of wisdom. And as he mentioned before, it's only the Yab who has the ornament of the human ash, and not the Yum, because she is the representation of wisdom herself.
야, 되네. 그거다.
And then I think then does the Drupon Kagyu have a body mandala practice for the 5 deity Chakrasvara? Dini Drupon Kagyu la
여지래.
Probably.
라 중시 선전도 와는 지슈라. 라 중시도 상가대로 여지래.
In the there's a so there's a 60. Well, here it's specified for the 5 deity. The question is, he thinks there probably is for the 5 deity. And Chakrasamvara, probably by from Rinchen Dorjee. The 60 deity Chakrasamvara from Rinchen Dorjee, it does have the body mandala. And then, so I don't quite understand this question. What is the significance of Heruka Chakrasamvara in comparison with other Chakrasamvara? I think all Chakrasamvara are Heruka, so I'm not sure how that. Tenete Heruka dimcho, the dimcho shimbale chepargare yore.
Dimcho shimba senakare.
Yeah, hagomasong.
당연히 야보스 거서 맞ons.
Yeah, so we're not. Maybe you can clarify that question. Yeah, so if you can if there's a way to clarify that question, you can put it in the basket and we can answer it later. Like what other Chakrasamvaras are being referred to here? I think that's it.
That's how it.
That's how it.
I
think we got all of it. Yeah. Oh, de la check your day. Dakbe julu dang madakbe julu dang dakbe sim dang madakbe sim gi chapar gare yore.
다 julu 다살 거면 너 야야. 다 julu 다 julu잖아. 나 마다 julu잖아. 마다 지런 타마바. 시네 제 사도 라라서 다제 메트로라서 저저 주마다 만남다 저한테 줄이 마다 라쇼사라와 다베 다제 나도 지캔티 뭐 보제 여러와 어 대소라 제 마다베 주마다 통나테 마다베 라쇼사라와 타비 지루선 소소 사고 공네 하체 장시 마로바 주마다 공나 제 타비 지루선 합쇼서와 어전에 다다디 샘 타비 샘세나 다 잠바 상보다나 타바치 잠바 겐바다나 마다바치 어다 진리치
So he said that you can think of like the impure illusory body as being, the illusory experience of ordinariness. So all of the appearance, the phenomena that arises, in the world, and the perception of this body as ordinary, it is an illusory body. All appearances are illusory, but when we experience them with the obscuration of delusion, then it is the impure illusory body. Whereas on the other hand, when meditating on the pure form of the deity and having, the clear, vivid appearance of the deity's form, but recognizing its empty essence, then that is a pure illusory body. And likewise, you can think that the pure mind is when you have pure intentions, when your mind is really wholesome, when your thoughts or the content of your mind is wholesome in nature, and when it is unwholesome, or there are kind of the content is that of negativity, then it is impure.
So
Jatsan Milarepa says, like pure intention, completely pure intention is bodhicitta. May all sentient beings attain it or give rise to it. That's all. So that completes all of the questions that we have for today.
Ra Rozana Hong Be Om Zambe Rozana Hong Be On Savam Buddha Dragene Beza Varna Hong Savam Buddha Dragene Beza Varna Hong Be So So Doge Honga Dang Aje Gurve Wanale La Jun Dove Dunjana Laria Hong La De Barjo.
The mantra revolving around the hung at the heart of each dakini radiates light. From these rays of light, deities emerge who then act for the benefit of beings. The light then gathers back and dissolves into the hung.
Om Dragane Hong Pe Om Dragane Hong Om Dragane Hong Be Om Lama Hong Be Om Lama Hong Be Om Kendaro Hong Be Om Kendaro Om Kendaro Hong Be Om 本内红培养日本内红。
The light radiating from the hung at my heart gathers the protection sphere and charnel grounds into the immeasurable palace, which dissolves into the four dakinis, who dissolve into the mother, who dissolves into the father, who then dissolves into the hung at my heart, which dissolves from the hook at its foot, upward into its body, the body into the head into the crescent moon, and finally that gathers into the nada string. The nada too dissolves and becomes imperceptible, settle within luminous clarity, even and vast. Once again, like a fish leaping from water, I arise as the great glorious Heruka, with one face and two arms, whose magnificent form appears clearly but is empty like a mirage. From the state of emptiness appear wind, fire, and a hearth of skulls. On this from arises a vast and wide kapala. Inside that from Bi, Ra, Ma, Mu, and Shu arise the 5 nectars, and from Na, Go, Da, Ha, and Ku arise the 5 meats, marked with Hung, Brum, Jim, and Kam. Through purifying, realizing, and flaring, the substances become a vast ocean of wisdom nectar. Pem, the light radiating from the Hung in my heart invites the conqueror Chakrasamvara from the pure land of Akanisha, together with myriad Viras and Yoginis, to come here to the space before me. On the tongues of the assembly of the deities of the 5 wheels are white Vajras the size of a barley grain. The torma is offered to the deities by moving it in a circle, to the left for those in the cardinal directions, and to the right for those in the intermediate directions. I bow to glorious Heruka, great hero, utterly pure Vajra Lord, and to Vajra Varahi, passionate one for those with great passion. Equally
Gombo do je je lim para je pe do je da lan zi je la mo nam je xin de je zen ze do zo
Equally victorious over attachment to existence and peace, you have conquered all conceptual thoughts. You see the even, space-like nature of all phenomena. Protector, may the nectar of your heart, infused with your compassion, drench me. Goddesses, please care for me with your great love.
71. Om Bezahera Samaya Manupalaya Hera Denoba Dejan Dredo Membawa Sudagayo Membawa Anurado Membawa Sobajayo Membawa Sarva Siddha Membraya Sarva Karma Zame Siddhan Shaya Guru Ha Hui Bangavan Bazahera Gama Memenza Hera Kobawa Mahasamaya Sadhu Ahoy Page 80.
The wisdom beings dissolve into me. Into myself. I appear as the transcendent conqueror. At my heart are white Om Ha. At my head yellow Namahi. At my crown red Soha Ho. At both shoulders black Bosat He. At both eyes crimson Hung Hung Ho. And at the limbs green Pet Hang.
Om Sambane Sambane Om Be Om Garna Garna Om Be Om Garna Vaya Garna Vaya Om Be Om Naya Om Banga Vembaza Om Be 84.
By this virtue and by the power of whatever virtue is amassed in the 3 times in samsara and nirvana, may I and all beings without exception, limitless as the sky, accomplish the victorious King of Delight.
86 in English.
Exalted Supreme Deity, victorious Chakrasvara, if I practice you with one pointed devotion, let your compassion neither wane nor be indifferent, but swiftly reveal your delightful sublime face. Through practicing the key points of settling in a state of controlling and binding the channels, winds, and drops of my impure, illusory body, may it become free from obscurations, undefiled and clear, and may I attain supreme accomplishment in this very life. If, due to a lack of fortune and diligence, I am not freed in this life, then at the time of death may the assembly of Viras and Dakinis of the 5 wheels, such as skull pieces and the rest, receive me with parasols, victory banners, a symphony of music, and various offering clouds, and then lead me to the pure field of Kechara. There may I behold the face of the victorious Heruka. In that field may I practice diligently the supreme swift path of secret mantra, and thereby cleanse the 2 obscurations and all karmic traces. May I accomplish the unified state of the supreme Vajra body endowed with 7 aspects. Although I may attain the Dharmakaya for my own sake in this way, out of immeasurable compassion for all mother beings, may my two-form emanations show them the teachings of the Supreme Vehicle, and thus may I swiftly establish them in the state of the Vajra holder. By this virtue may I swiftly accomplish the divine assembly of Chakrasvara deities and establish all beings without exception in that state.